Okay, I was right. I was expecting this to be pointing down. I guess I was looking at the wrong wire, but when it came off, I saw it was pointing this way, and I looked at my distributor, which sits like this, and this fourth wire on here is the one that needs to be pointing at, but where they cross right here, it fooled my eyes. I was thinking it was going to be the bottom one, but it actually is this one, which is where this thing is pointing to. What I'll do is I'll clean this up. And it never hurts to put a shot of WD-40 in one of these things. That basically chases water out of it while I got it off. But I'll leave that off till I get through. I'll double check my timing marks over here again. I don't know if you guys can see the timing mark, but there's a little point on that piece of plastic down there. Right here, that's your timing mark. And a little notch right here, that's your timing mark on the end of your camshaft. Those two pointing together. Top dead center basically means the piston is all the way to the top. Back in the old days, we would literally, on a small block Chevy, sometimes drop a screwdriver, take your spark plug out, put a screwdriver in there and watch the piston, push it up till it went all the way to the top. If you went too far, just start back down. That'd give you a pretty good idea when you were at top dead center. The thing about top dead center, though, is that your piston is going to be at the top on the firing valve as well as the exhaust, the intake valve, so intake cycle. So just because the piston's at the top doesn't mean it's top dead center. It has to be top dead center with both the valves closed, which is the combustion cycle. And in that cycle, the valves are all loose, and at that point you can adjust them. Volkswagens have a very similar, well, you adjust Volkswagens are almost exactly like this, Volkswagen Bugs, except that they only have one valve per cylinder. These have two valves per cylinder, thus you get the 16 valve engine, which is a lot more economical. So the way to set these is there's a setting on the hood over here that says it's I think it's 20. It's either 20 or 25 on the exhaust, and whatever it is, the other one on the intake. One's 20 thousandths, one's 25 thousandths. You take a feeler gauge and you literally slip it up under here. You loosen this nut. You tighten this screw till the feeler gauge is just snug but not cramped, and then you retighten this thing. This one actually gives a torque amount to torque these things at, you know, once you get them back down. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do one, I'm going to turn the engine over to the next one, which I think is something like 180 degrees. I don't exactly know, but I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when I got that done, I'll be done with this. I can put it all back together. I guess I'll go ahead and say this too. I'm fairly impressed with a lot of things about the way this car is engineered. You know, for example, when you take the screws out of the distributor cap, they won't unscrew. They won't unscrew and fall out so you lose them. They'll unscrew enough to get it off, but then they stay in here so they're ready for you when you put it back on. That's a nice piece of thinking. I know back in the day we'd be working on old cars and we'd think, man, they ought to make this like that. They ought to do this, they ought to do that. Well, on this car, in a lot of those places they've done that, which is wicked cool in my book.